I'll let you know when we're live. Okay, I think we are live here this evening. I'm just going to make sure we're live and on air. Yes, we are. All right. So good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Austin, and I am coming to you live from Academy for Master Performance AMP trainings. And I am really excited tonight to come here with you live because there's a lot of things happening at AMP trainings. And the woman I'm about to introduce to you is one of the very exciting things that have been happening here at AMP trainings. And her name is Connie Kean, and she is an energy consultant, and she is the owner and founder of Quantum Energy Infusion, which I'm going to give her a moment to talk all about. What is that? Because it sounds really cool, because it is. So stay tuned to what that's all about. And to give you a little idea of who I am, my name is Chris Austin, and I am one of the co-founders of AMP Trainings. It's a personal development and leadership program based out of South Florida. And we do personal development and leadership workshops. And it's been an honor to get to know Connie throughout this past year in particularly. And she came to us and really wanted to introduce the world of energy, is what I'm going to say. Okay, because I've heard about energy, right? I've heard about energy and like being able to access it, be it, do it. I know we all have energy, but it wasn't until I met this woman, Connie Kean, until I really started to get what energy really is from a whole different perspective. So tonight I want to introduce you to Connie, and she has some of the best energy and positive attitude that I've ever met in my life. So you're in for a treat tonight. So welcome, Connie. How are you this evening?
Thank you, Chris. I'm terrific. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. And I'm so excited to be here because you all are helping me live my vision, live my dream, and bring my vision forth, what AMP Trainings is doing. And by bringing me in as your energy consultant, what I've been able to do to awaken a lot of people to energy, to understanding that we live in a quantum field, that everything is energy. And we live in a quantum field, and we can access that energy, and we can infuse our lives with its intelligence and its vitality and its power. And you have energy systems in your body, and you can learn about those, and you can optimize them and clear and balance and strengthen them. So when you start to open up your eyes to energy, it pretty much changes everything.
This is true. So when is it when you first got into energy? Like what has somebody go, oh, I'm going to be an energy consultant? Like when was the moment?
Well, the moment that happened for me was in 1994. I had a near-death experience. I was on a plane 30,000 feet above the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and my lungs started filling with fluid. I had pneumonia and I didn't know it. So I had pneumonia, and we got, an angel came and gave me mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and kept me alive until the plane landed, until they could get me to Singapore. So I will be forever grateful to the medical model for saving my life and keeping me alive. And as my recovery went on, I was on 5 or 6 rounds of antibiotics, and the medical model couldn't heal me. They kept me alive, but they couldn't heal me. And I had an energy session with a Reiki master. We lived in Jakarta, Indonesia at the time. And that woman came and gave me a treatment. And I knew from that moment I was going to learn how to do what she did. So it was instantaneous with me. And then my body fully healed from the pneumonia. So I know it was through the energy work, because I knew that Western medical model threw everything they had at me. And it wasn't until the work with the energy medicine that I was able to heal.
Wow, that's incredible. That's like a movie story, Connie. That's absolutely incredible. And so there might be a lot of people watching that when we're talking about energy, what is it? Like, what are we talking about when we say, like, what do you do? What are we talking about when we talk about quantum energy infusion and energy as itself? What is it really?
Well, that's an excellent question. It really comes down to atoms. Actually, it really goes even smaller to quarks. But right now we're going to talk about atoms, because remember when you were in, maybe 7th grade science, and you learned about the atom, and you learned there was a nucleus, and then there protons and neutrons and all that stuff that went around it. And you learned that that atom was 99.9% energy. That really the matter that made that atom was just the teensiest bit of it, that it was really energy. And then you learned that atoms could come together and form molecules, and molecules can form cells, and cells form tissues, and tissues form organs. And before you know it, you have a compressed matter, you have compressed energy here that's matter. So before you know it, when you think all the way up from quarks and atoms and all of that and how they come together to form matter, that is all compressed energy. So everything really is energy when you think of it as the atomic level.
Sure. Wow.
And your body has energy systems in it. And some of you may have learned about this, some of you may have not. There's the word chakra, which means energy center or energy wheel. And we have chakras in our body. There's a chakra system that is a full-blown energy system. We have meridians that run through, that are rivers of energy that run through our body. And if you ever heard of acupuncture, it is the meridians, these rivers of energy, the qi, they call it qi in China, as it runs through your body, and these rivers of energy feed your organs. And traditional Chinese medicine has been around for 5,000 years, people. This is not some new thing that I'm up in 2020. It's a science in its own right, and a medicine in its own right. And in India, and the yogic tradition is when they talk about the chakras. In Chinese medicine, they talk about the meridians. And you have an auric field. The medical model is even given it a name. It's called the biofield in the medical model. They have established scientifically now that they can measure the subtle fields of energy around your body. So those are just 3 of the energy systems you have in your body, and we have 9. So all energy, the life force energy is what I like to call it. They call it prana in India. They call it chi in China. And it all means essentially the energy that propels and fuels all of life.
That's amazing. Like you're just so wealth of knowledge. So now again, there might be a lot of people that for the first time are hearing a lot of this going, oh, wow. Right. Like, and a lot of this is sinking in. So what would you say to people when they go, oh, I don't know about this healing stuff in energy, like as far as energy being able to heal? How would you explain that?
Well, I can approach that. I've been a healing practitioner for 26 years. I call myself an energy consultant now because I'm both a practitioner and an instructor. And I have brought those together, and I've created a company that teaches online programs to help people learn about energy. So I've been for 26 years a practitioner using the healing arts for healing. The way that I like to talk about it in Quantum Energy Infusion is that we work to bring your energy systems in balance. We clear them, we strengthen them, we balance them, we get old stuck energies out of there. Any trauma that's stuck in your body or in your energy system, we can remove that energetically. And when we clear and strengthen your energy fields, the energy flows through your body, and physical healing is a byproduct. We're getting our energies together in Quantum Energy Infusion to optimize our energy systems. And what we find is when your energy is maximized and optimized, your body works better, your brain works better, your emotions work better, everything processes cleaner, faster, and stronger. And physical healing is a natural byproduct of working with energy.
Yeah, I mean, and I've like, for those of you watching that, Connie, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, she actually has some classes and courses that you can participate in. And I am a proud graduate of the first level, and I am currently in level 2 as a student. And it has been profound in the shifts that it's had in my life, going through different transitions and different things, lifing, as I like to call it, lifing. And even this last weekend, I was facilitating a personal development training here at AMP. And I used the tools that you have shared with us about 8-9 times throughout the weekend that actually allowed my body to be re-energized, and it worked. Right? Like it worked. And so, I was one of those people, like I said in the beginning, that, yeah, energy's cool. And but it was more of a concept to me, like a mental concept, and I didn't really get it. So a lot of what people are familiar with, like in everyday life, are the chakras, right? Yes. People are a lot familiar with chakras through meditation and different things like that. Could you touch base a little bit like on the chakras?
Oh, I'd love to. That's actually my favorite energy system. So I'm glad you picked that one. So the chakras have also been worked with for thousands of years through the yogic tradition in the traditions of India. And they are literally energy centers. I see them as wheels. They spin. They're these vortices that spin in our bodies. And there are a lot of chakras. There are 7 main energy centers that go all the way up from our root chakra to our second chakra, which is in the sacral area below your belly button. The third chakra is your solar plexus. It's right above your belly button. Your fourth chakra is your heart chakra. And even if you've never even heard about chakras, you've heard about your heart center. You've heard about people talk about their heart center. We have a 5th chakra in our throat. Our third eye chakra is in our brain, and our crown chakra is above our head. We do have other chakras outside of our body. We learn about in level 2, and we have other small chakras within our hands and our feet and go through our body. So this chakra system it's intelligent. And in fact, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about them in his book, Becoming Supernatural. And when he talks about he calls them energy centers. So when he's talking about the energy centers, he says, they all have a mind of their own. And I was like, yes, they do. I'd never heard anybody say that until Dr. Dispenza said that. But I've worked with chakras for 26 years, and I have come to know my own chakra system, and I've come to know, I've connected with it. I've cleared it. I've strengthened it. I've balanced it. And every morning I balance my chakras. I literally, before I get out of bed, I lay in my bed and I balance my root chakra and my 7th chakra till they come into sync. I balance 2 and 6. I balance 5 and 3. And then I come with my hands on my heart. And this is a very sacred practice. I meditate while I do. I actually also do some breathing practices. And it takes me in such a deep meditative state and clears my energy. I mean, can you imagine getting out of bed with your brain optimized, your energy optimized, having just done a breathing exercise to oxygenate your body, and then having done meditation to go into gamma brainwaves? I wake up so excited for my life and to get up and to what comes next. And that's in between 20 and 30 minutes. I supercharge my body. I am becoming supernatural as I use these energetic techniques. And I believe the chakra system is the easiest of them to access for each of us. Well, the auric field is real easy to access because we're working with it all the time, just living in it. But in terms of an in-body system, I really love the chakras for what they're like computer hard drives. They receive energy, they receive information, they're intelligent. Energy is intelligent, you guys. The energy has intelligence. So if you think about the quantum field, which is the very fabric of the universe, come on. It's the energy, right? It's physics. It is the field, the unified field that connects everything. And that intelligence and that energy has intelligence. It's the same intelligence that turns an acorn into an oak tree without you doing anything. It's the same intelligence that helps your body fight a virus because of your immune system. Intelligence that makes an embryo become the right kind of baby, whether it's a human one or a fox one, or right? It's that intelligence that is available to us all the time by us engaging with the quantum field. And when we bring that life force energy into us, the intelligence comes with it. And when I do my energy in the morning like that, I literally visualize the life force energy. I call this the life force highway, going up and down my body. It comes in and it goes all the way down out through my feet and it comes up. So there's this channel of energy that comes right up and runs through the chakras, and I call it the life force highway. And I literally breathe in the life force energy, and I imagine that sparkling energy to be energetic stem cells, and that those energetic stem cells enter my body and literally heal anything that needs to happen because of the intelligence of the energy. And it knows, and the intelligence of the energy speaks to the intelligence of the body. The kinesthetic intelligence of the body and the intelligence of the energy have this thing going on, and they totally communicate with each other. So that's how I start my morning, and it's why I'm full of energy.
Why you're full of energy, right? Because we all know you as Energy Connie. That's what we call you around DAB trainings, right? Energy Connie. Like that's your nickname, because I'm like, man, I need to wake up with that much energy every day. And hey, I'm learning. I'm learning it. I'm in your classes, right?
You are.
Yeah,
You
so I'm learning
really
it.
are. The transformation I've seen in you, Chris, is remarkable.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. So as you're talking about this and the intelligent, and we're talking about healing the body and all of that stuff, you have actually had a tangible experience of medical doctors not understanding how things got healed in people in your space, correct?
Oh, often,
Yeah.
yes.
So now if we're thinking about some people that are watching this, there might be some skeptics, right? There might be some skeptics going, yeah. There's those hippie people and there are those energy people, whatnot. And I'm sure you've come up about different things throughout your time as an energy consultant. Now, some of the stories you have told me as far as medically and like all this stuff going on, what would you say was the most profound moment for you to where you supported either healing yourself or somebody else through energy?
Oh, wow. I have two stories. There's so many that come to mind. The one they're both medically provable because they both happened in hospitals. So the most profound one for me, because I was there as a practitioner, I wasn't working on myself. So my husband had a stroke. Unfortunately, but the good news is he was in the hospital. The bad news is he had a stroke, but he was in the hospital already in ICU, and they were able to detect that it was a stroke immediately and work to get him doctors. Well, by the time I got there, I was in a yoga class when it happened. They called me and I got there as fast as I could. And Jim was like, I mean, the whole left side of his body, nothing there, nobody home, couldn't talk, no response, completely unconscious. And the neurologist was in there, and it was Sunday morning, and there were like no doctors, and it was just weird. There were no doctors in town. We had to wait several hours till they could get a neurosurgeon into the hospital. And this dear man that had moved to Dallas and was supposed to start the next day, wasn't even supposed to be available yet, literally got himself to the hospital to give Jim this procedure. So, because they had to go in, it was a blood clot. Okay, so that's what a stroke is. He threw a blood clot. The right carotid artery was 100% occluded. No blood, no oxygen, no nothing going to that whole side of the brain, and which controlled the left side of his body. Well, and they poked, they couldn't get him unconscious. And so when I got there, nobody was around, and I started working on him. So I pushed the hospital bed out, I stood behind him, and I started working on his head because I knew there was no oxygen, no blood flow, nothing. So I started sending energy to it, and I worked around all through his head and his shoulders and all back around. And I probably worked on him an hour before the doctor came in. So the neurologist was right across the room from me, and he was looking at Jim, and he goes, yeah, this is about how, this is all I can, this is going to get. What I can tell you is I just don't want you to get your hopes up if he's like this and there's been no, it's going to be bad. So, and we're getting no response from him. He's unresponsive. So as I was working on Jim, and I had been starting to get some responses from Jim with all of this. And I said, honey, if you can feel this, move your finger, if you can do this. So as I said to him, Jim, are you awake? He opened his eyes. Wow. And that neurologist looked like he'd seen a ghost. He absolutely couldn't believe it. He said, well, can you do this? And he started asking things, and Jim could actually move a finger, and these things started happening. He goes, well, that's impossible. And I said, no, it's not. I've been working energetically on him for over an hour, and this is what can happen. Well, he never believed it, but except that he saw it, right? Yeah. So then once they saw that and the nurses were watching, they let me stay with Jim. I worked on him. They wheeled me down in the operating, that took me all the way down. They never made me stop working. And then the other neurologist saw what I was doing. He was like, that is really cool. Who are you? And I said, I'm his wife. And he said, come on in. And he let me stay with them till the last second when they had to keep me out because of germs and stuff. Yeah. And then I continued to work on Jim remotely, energetically, the whole time while it happened. So it went pretty well, but there was so much matter stuck in here. They had to do 3 procedures to pull it out. So the doctor came out and he looked at it. He said, I'm so sorry. It's been 6.5 hours. Anything after 6 hours, there's just not any hope for any of this to come back. He said it was completely shut down. And I said, well, thank you, doctor. I really appreciate your skills, and I appreciate your medical model experience. And I have a different experience in my world where healing is possible. And I will continue to do my work. And I'm so grateful that you kept him alive and you were able to remove that clot for us. Well, 7 weeks later, my husband went back to work as a chemical engineer in the oil and gas industry. They never expected him to walk. They never expected him to talk. And he went back to work at a high functioning job in the oil and gas industry.
All because of the energy.
Of the energy. And the nurses would come in, and I worked with them with essential oils. I had an acupuncturist come in the hospital and work on him. I paid another energy practitioner to come in and work on it. The doctors would bring in all of the other doctors to look at Jim and look at his chart and then say, this is the guy who had this chart.
That's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Yeah. You know, and that's really having both worlds, like the medical field and the energy field coming together to heal people. And what do you think it's going to take to get to that point in our culture?
I think it's going to take quantum energy infusion. I think it's going to take us showing how much can happen. I have a vision. I have a big vision for quantum energy infusion. And one of them is that we engage them with the medical body. And I'm not the only person that has this vision in the energy world. There are millions, I mean millions of energy practitioners that have this dream and desire and vision that energy will be accepted by the Western medical model. And my vision is that we'll have it covered by insurance. And I think the way it's going to happen is I want to create a program that goes into energy emergency rooms that will help people stay alive energetically until the Western model can kick in and really, do what it needs to do, because it takes both, right? I mean, ultimately. And so if we can do these energy things, see, because what we can do is we can pull the energetic trauma out of their body to let it heal quicker. Anything that's happening, we can keep those energy systems moving. Whenever there's surgery, whenever my husband's had a surgery, you have to knit back the energy systems. Isn't just the tissue and the flesh that gets cut. They cut through the acupuncture, they cut through the meridians, they cut through all the energy of the chakras. And you get to knit that back. You get to put it back together. So any of the their energy systems that we can be healing the same times that the medical model's keeping them alive and using energy medicine, they're going to come out of it so much faster. And when the medical model truly gets it, insurance companies are going to get it because it's going to save them money, right? It's going to get people out of the hospital faster. And to have us present for surgeries where we can knit together those systems. In surgical procedures where I've worked with the doctor's permission, and I've literally worked energetically at the hospital, not in the operating room, but at the hospital with the surgeon and with the patient. And when we can heighten that connection energetically, the surgeon always comes out and said, it was like his body was talking to me. I've never had an experience like that where I was doing surgery and I knew exactly there was like communication from the body in a way that he'd never experienced before.
Yeah, it's a beautiful concept. And I mean, I know I'd want you sending me energy if I had anything going on, because I mean, I can speak firsthand, not as intensely as your husband and Jim and stuff like that, but as a lot of you know, I had COVID, right? I was diagnosed with COVID, and I actually, thank goodness, I didn't end up in the hospital or anything like that, but I was not one of those easy peasy cases. At home, I had my challenges and my struggle, 41 days, quarantine, all of that. And as I had COVID, I was starting to be in the energy course with Connie. And it was fascinating to be experiencing that. And every week I would be committed still and get on there, right, and do the energy courses. And I swear to this moment that because you were in my space and you were teaching me these tools of energy, that I didn't end up in the hospital. I am convinced of that because of the way that my body was being and different vitals and different things that were happening behind closed doors, that even though I was still showing up here, I was dealing with some stuff off camera. And I am clear that like the work that I was doing with you had my body like heal and not end up in the hospital. I'm convinced. And then during that same time, everybody, I'm telling you, I was struggling with horrible hip pain. Okay. And huge sciatic stuff for years. Okay. So for years, I no longer have pain, everybody. I want you to get that. And people that know me, that every now and then I'd be like, I joke around, oh, my sciatica, and like I joke around about it, but it was this intense pain in my hips and particularly on my left side. And when I spoke into it, Connie picked right up on it. During an energy session, she picked right up on it. And I said, well, as a matter of fact, and I told her about it. And literally, it took maybe 10, 15 minutes. I'm not kidding, everybody, 10, 15 minutes. She did, I call it the Connie magic, right? She did the Connie magic and along with me because I'm learning the tools, and I had a group of people in my class sending their energy as well. I have not had pain. So I woke up the next morning pain-free, and it's been what, a couple of months now?
Oh, at least, yeah.
Yeah, at least a couple of months where I have had zero pain in an area in my body, to where, I'm not kidding, probably 3 years. And another thing is that I constantly had to have iron infusions. Okay. Like, I had really bad anemia and iron infusions. It was the first time in 3 years where I did not need an iron infusion, and where all of my blood work came back normal for like different deficiencies and stuff like that. And I swear to you, Connie, that is because of the work that I've been doing with you in your classes, because I want people to know that I personally had a tangible experience of this working in my body and healing. It works. So it's beautiful. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And I want everybody to understand that Chris did her work, right? That her energy systems didn't all come into balance and start working optimally because I zapped her for 15 minutes. Every day she does energy exercises to organize the energy in her energy systems. Every day she uses an energy technology to either remove lower vibrating frequencies, or to clear blocked emotions, or to help balance an energy system. She did her homework. She looked at the videos. She did all of the exercises that I asked her to do. And she had her healing because she optimized her energy systems, which allowed her body to heal. That's how it works. And I'm so thrilled that you got to have such significant healings.
Yeah. And it's been amazing. Now, let me ask you this. What are some of the challenges, right? Because I said there might be some skeptics. You might be the weird lady next door, right? We joke around about that sometimes. So what have been some challenges through the decades of being an energy consultant and quantum energy infusion and talking all of this stuff? What's the biggest challenge that you work through?
Yeah.
Would you say?
The biggest challenge, excuse me, was in 1996 when I came back stateside. So our family, my husband is an oil and gas engineer, as I said, and we had a 5-year station in Jakarta, Indonesia. And that's where I got all of my energy training. Well, that's where I started. I've gotten a lot of it other places since. But I mean, I was in Asia, and I studied Reiki there, where I had to take level 1 for 6 months, and then I took level 2, and then I had to wait a whole year. I was an energy apprentice for an entire year with my Reiki master before she made me a master, before she opened up my body to become a teaching master. So this is far, and it was about a $12,000 situation in 1994. I mean, it was like cost more than a year of college in 1994 for me to become a Reiki master. You can go to LA or just about anywhere and do it for $600 in a weekend now. I'm telling you, that's not the experience I had.
Right.
I worked with her every week with energy. She trained me and the whole thing. So I did it the old school way, and I do it the old school way with people that work with me and what I expect from them if they choose to do this kind of work. And when I came back to the States in 1996, so I'm also a piano teacher. And for 42 years, I've been a piano teacher, classical piano teacher. And I've always taught, I've taught college. And then once I started a family, I started teaching at home. And I've had private piano studios, actually 9 of them around the world. And I've had the pleasure of working with children and adults alike. Well, so when I moved back from Indonesia, I was like, I've already been a piano teacher for 20 some years. I'm going to be an energy practitioner. How cool is that? Well, nobody was having it. When I started talking about it, so I was like the Brownie troop leader. I was the Cub Scout, what do you call the master of the whole thing, right?
I don't know, yeah.
I did all of that, okay? And when I would start talking about energy, those people would hold their kids. They'd step back from me. Nobody could deal with it. They thought it was like demonic. I mean, literally, I lived in a very conservative part of Texas. It was not flying. And so I told people that they wanted to take piano from me, and because I moved back to Dallas, so people already knew me there. And I said, no, I'm going to put you on a waiting list. I'm going to do something else for a year, and then I'll decide if I'm going to teach piano. Well, I had a waiting list this long to teach piano lessons and 0 energy clients, 0.
Oh boy.
And the more I talked about it, the weirder people thought I was. And I had children that were 1st and 3rd grade. I shut it down. I did what I could do with people close to me. I did my energy work with the family. and with trusted confidants, you know, that got to know me well enough that I would do private work with them. Otherwise, I had to hide who I was. So that's what it was
You
like
had
in the
to
90s.
hide. You couldn't really talk about it. So, but you don't find that now, correct?
Not where I live now.
Not
I live in
as a
South
result that
Florida.
you're on a Facebook Live.
Yeah.
So, was it moving from Texas to Florida, or was it through the decades? Like, what do you think shifted to have us be able to talk on Facebook Live today and you not be like a witchy poo witch, some weirdo, like, right? So, like, what do you think shifted?
Yes. Well, the consciousness has shifted. So there's that. And there's a lot of us that have been working our entire lives to help shift the consciousness, up level the consciousness to be more open to ideas like this. So it has been decades. It's been 2.5 decades. So that's worth a lot. And when my husband retired, we moved 9 times with his business. And I said to Jim, I want one more move. I want to go live by the ocean. And because I had already done training, I knew there were a lot of really open-minded people in South Florida. And there were lots of young people that would say, you remind me of my grandmother, which I'm old enough, but they would, and she did energy, you know, when I was growing up in South America, when I was growing up in the islands, and they knew about energy. And I haven't met one person in South Florida that's thought I was a nut job, unlike Texas, right? So grateful for that. So moving here gave me what I believe is the freedom, the space that I needed, and the freedom to actually build quantum energy infusion. It's been years in the making in my head, but it wasn't until I came here in an environment where I felt I was safe and fully supported that I could truly build what I've done now, which is my love of teaching and my love of energy. I've brought them together and created this enormous educational platform.
Yeah, so you've heard us talk a little bit tonight about Quantum Energy Infusion. And that is the name of Connie's company. And that's what her vision is and what she's up to. And if you saw the title of this video, I explained that Connie is AMP Training's energy consultant. Now, some people are like, energy consultant? What does that mean? And people go, you have an energy consultant? What is that? What does she do? What would you say, Connie, that like if for people that are wondering what you do for our company, what do you do as AMP Training's energy consultant?
Thank you. Well, I do a lot of things for that. And one part of my vision, one branch of my vision, so I have this huge vision, and one branch of it was literally to bring energy technologies to transformational trainings, to personal development trainings. And I knew that Chris and Francine, I knew Francine well enough because she was my trainer. And I knew of Chris because she was a trainer in training when I did my work. So I felt like I knew them enough that I could come to them and say, I have this vision. And you guys do so much incredible work, transformational work in your trainings. And I want to help people sustain their transformations. So what I had found was that the people that I worked with who had gone through transformational trainings and energetically supported them through their trainings were really able to sustain the transformations they made in those trainings, even when they went back into the drift. So I knew that if we could bring energy technologies into the actual delivery of the trainings, that would enhance the people's, not only enhance their transformation, but it would sustain it. And they would have tools and techniques to go back out into the drift with and to be able to keep their energy going. And then, so we've worked with AMP with that, and we do some of our quantum quickies.
How fun is that name, everybody? A quantum quickie. Who doesn't want one of those? Cheers.
That's for sure. And where they're going to use some of our quantum quickies in their training. And then I've designed quantum energy infusion to be level 4, to be a possibility for level 4 after they're done with the 3 levels of the transformational training. So what it does, so I'm still going to answer your question about what I do for quantum energy for you guys. So quantum energy infusion teaches these energy technologies that when you start to engage the energy, it literally changes your energetic fields. It changes how you express in the world. It changes your context, who you are, and your context, because we're literally raising your frequency. Yeah, we literally are raising your frequency. You are a higher vibrating being when you're done with quantum infusion than when you started, and we can measure it. I mean, I've got the data. So what am I doing for AMP? So what I'm doing is bringing this idea in that we can release these lower vibrating frequencies from someone's body, which are old belief systems or limited beliefs or traumas or just junk in your system, right? You had a crummy childhood, you had a whatever it was, that energy is stored in your body and in your energy systems. So that can be released. Trainings do a good job with releasing a lot of that and helping you process it. You do it at a emotional level and a mental level, and actually some of it even at a physical level, for those of you that have experienced the trainings. So I literally run the energy, and I'm going to say that I run the energy of the people as they are releasing. And if they're doing a group release, then I'm running the energy of the entire group. So if you can imagine, I call it a morphogenic field is actually a term, but if you can imagine that everybody's together in a room and they're all doing an emotional release exercise, then their energy is moving out of them. They're releasing those older energies, right? These old memories and things that don't serve them any longer. So I help facilitate, move that energy through them faster and completely out of their body. Then I can do that one person at a time. I can do it with an entire room. It just depends how long you've been doing it and how much training you've had. So I'm literally helping AMP move the energy through their people for their people so that they have cleaner and stronger transformations because we've moved a lot of that heavy old energy out.
And it's a groundbreaking thing that Connie and Quantum Energy Infusion and AMP trainings are stepping into. And Connie's vision is to have this all over the world.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, in fact, my vision and my hope is to be nationwide with Quantum Energy Infusion, with energy technologies in the transformational training centers throughout the United States by the end of 2021.
And we are a stand to have that happen because we have seen such amazing results in our trainings and with our students and with our people in our community and in our own lives. We've experienced it. And so I know firsthand, like I said, that it works. Now, so those of you that are wondering, well, what are these courses that you're talking about, Chris, and what are you involved in? So I think the one that's happening right now got sold out, right?
It did.
Yeah, I got totally sold out. So I'm going to give Connie an opportunity to talk about like, what are the courses? When are like her next one possibly starting up, like the different levels, all of that stuff. But what I'm going to say is when she starts to explain it, they fill up quickly. So like you don't want to miss it. And I promise you that it's worth everything. So why don't we tell them what we mean by like the classes I'm in and what they can do?
I'd love to. Thank you. And one of the other things that I wanted to talk about that I do with AMP trainings, and I do this with anyone I work with, is I literally hold the space. Like Chris said, they're a stand for my vision, right? I'm a stand for AMP trainings, for what they're doing and for the work and the transformation that they're creating in the world by working towards the 2%. And I also know that we're in the time of a shift now. The human collective consciousness is shifting into higher levels. If you haven't figured that out by now in 2020, I'm telling you, we're in the middle of a shift, and it's happening, and it's chaotic, and as is divisive as it is now. There's healing on the other side of this. I promise. I promise there is, because as we're raising the energy of the collective, raising the consciousness, the frequency levels of the collective, these older frequencies are breaking apart, and literally these older currents of energy are breaking up in the collective. And so I move that energy for AMP when they're having a release. I also move that energy for the collective. And my level 2 people know how to do that. And my consultants know how to do it. We are literally running these massive currents of energy that it's time for them to break up. Think oppression, think rape, think racism, right? Think pedophilia. We are literally working with these dark, heavy energy fields and helping them break apart, because it's time for that to stop. It is time.
And one thing I want to say is that it's been so profound that AMP trainings, we're actually making it a requirement for like our trainers, right? Mm-hmm. So all of our trainers are going to have what we're talking about, and being able to have this happen in a room too. And thank you, Connie, for that, because we know that we're moving energy, and we get that we support in that. But now the ability that you've allowed for us as trainers, and to me, it's an extra way to love and support our people here at the AMP community, because it's on a whole new level now. And I'm telling you, I've been in this for 10 years, and what I've been seeing since the energy work has come into our trainings here at AMP is profound. So I thank you for that, because we are committed at AMP trainings to creating peace in our lifetime. That is the goal of AMP trainings, that we want people that want to make a difference in the world and want to support and stand for humanity to come from a place of love and freedom and peace and harmony. Yes. And I know that with you and us and all the other transformational people and non-people that are in transformation, like that step into this, I know that my vision and Francine's vision here at AMP Trainings is going to manifest because of having you on our team. So thank you for that. So why don't you tell them where they can, what they can do? Like, it's people here online. I get to learn this. How do I learn this? So how do you learn?
That's beautiful, right? So quantumenergyinfusion.com is the website, and Chris is going to put that link into the comments. And it's and if you try it again, just make sure you keep trying with it, because sometimes it comes up and sometimes it doesn't, because it's a Kajabi, built on a Kajabi site. And you can go to quantumenergyinfusion.com, and right at the top you can sign up where it says start here, and just download 3 little videos from me, so you can get a sense of, I teach you 3 quantum quickies in those videos, so you can get a sense of what it's like to, well, I guess you just saw me on camera, but you can get a sense of what I'm like on video. And you can get a sense of how these energy exercises move energy. And with those 3, and they're 3 minutes apiece, so 10 minutes, and you've just learned this whole bunch of stuff about energy. And if that resonates with you, then you can book a call with me, and we can talk about it. We can talk about if it's going to work for you. So level 1 is 8 modules of information. It's delivered over 8 weeks. There are 32 videos. I mean, I teach all of the concepts by video. It's all online on Kajabi on a beautiful platform. And then there's like 24 PDFs and 8 energy sessions. So you learn about the energy, you learn about the energy systems in your body, you learn how to do exercises that train your energy to support it to go in the right direction. Because I'm telling you, most of us are kind of messed up right now with our energies. It's just the way it is in 2020.
Yeah, I'm looking at the world. I'm looking at the world, Connie.
Yeah, right. Just take a look. Here's the results, right? We're looking at the results. So you learn to do all of this, and then you come together for 90 minutes or 2 hours every week with this group of people that becomes your mastermind for your transition, for your new experience in life. Because I'm telling you, it's new. You raise your frequency so much that you become a new context for your life. And these people experience with you. And there can be anywhere from 8 to 12 people in these energy group sessions. And we do the work together. It's safe. One of our integrity, transparency, safety, honesty, we're all about that. It's this safe space for people to do their work in. And another really beautiful thing about energy is it's the energy that we're moving from your body. There doesn't have to be a story about it. Or even if you have a story about how that trauma got stuck in your body, we don't need to know it. All we need to know is the energy is going to go. If you know what that story is and you can set the intention, we can help you pull the energy out.
I'm telling you, people, it's the coolest thing, because I think I'm having a grand old day. I go to these energy sessions. I think it's great. And there's been stuff that has been brought to my attention for generations upon generations upon generations, because that's how connected this energy work can go. So I've actually carried stuff on through generations from my mom and dad, from their mom and dad, from their mom and dad, right? Like great, great, great grandparents. I've learned that has been passed on. So it's been really cool, because I'm like, yeah, I'm having a great day. And then I realized, oh, I got that. Let's get rid of it. Right. So it's been really cool. And, you know, and I'm going to say it's been so amazing to be in the space of you, you know, each week too. And it's been amazing. So I'm going to say that if if you're watching this, because there's a level 1, right?
Yes.
There's level 1, there's a level 2,
Right.
right? And then level 3, and level 3 is if you want to be a practitioner, is that correct?
Yeah, certified consultant.
Yeah, certified
Yeah.
consultant.
Mhm.
So if this is something where you've, been into energy work, chakras, auras, like you want to heal people. So a lot of people today are into healing,
Yes.
and saying I'm a healer and I want to heal and step into that. I promise you that by you taking and stepping into quantum energy infusion with Connie, you're actually going to come from an authentic space of stepping into healing. And it's going to be beautiful and being in service to not only yourself, but other people, and then the world initially, right?
Yes.
Because we say, and Connie has this same thing, that we're all connected.
Yes.
Whether we like it or not, we're all connected. And, and there's one race. And to me, that's the human race.
Absolutely. Yes.
And that's where
That's
we're
exactly right.
heading.
And we're connected by the unified field.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
So anything else you want to say about quantum energy infusion or anything else before we wrap it up?
Well, anybody that's interested in learning more, go to my website and book a call with me, or just put it in the comments and Chris and I will grab it, because I filled my last class for 2020. I will tell you though, if there are enough of you that, if we get 8 people together, I'll run a class with 8. And
That's nothing, everybody. 8 people. You
that's
can
all
spend a day.
That's all we need. And if you are a transformational graduate, put that in there too, because Chris and Francine have brokered a deal with Quantum Energy Infusion, and we offer 25% off of our training to transformational graduates.
Yes.
So, and you don't have to be an AMP grad, you can be a transformational training grad.
Yes,
So
we want to place theme in that way. So make sure that you let us know that you're a part of that.
Right.
Give that gift to you.
Right, absolutely. We're so grateful to AMP for that. So that we want to, so my personal mission is raising the collective consciousness to peaceful coexistence. And you can see how that goes so hand in hand with AMP's vision. And my vision also then is for everybody to understand that everything is energy. Because when we get to that place, and when you understand that everything's energy and frequencies and resonance, what happens is we again become absorbed back into the unified field. And there's no reason for judgment. There's only acceptance, because a frequency is a frequency. And if you're vibrating at 500 and somebody's vibrating at 200, they have their resonance and you have your resonance, and your truth is a function of your resonance. And their truth is a function of their resonance. There's no judgment in this. It's simply physics. And when you understand that, you could drop all the crap, you could drop all the being divided, you could drop all of this. You literally can embrace each person for being the human being. And I know we can coexist. When we think about this with physics, and we can drop all the stories and embrace each other as fellow human beings, I know that peaceful coexistence is possible. And I truly believe it's happening within my lifetime.
Yes, it is, because we say so. And so it is, right? We're declaring that out there.
Right.
So I want to thank you, Connie, for coming on, because this is a start, people. This is a start, and Connie was so gracious to jump on our first airing. And what I'm going to do is each week, I really want to have people start to know the amazing people that are a part of the AMP community. We have such beautiful, amazing, brilliant people that are part of our AMP trainings. And I really want you to start to get to know them and all of the amazing things that they're up to. And I like to support each other, right? So I like to support Connie and what she's up to with Quantum Energy Infusion. And next week we have Tori Michaels on. We have Tori Michaels on, and she's a feng shui master and all these really cool things, and facilitator. And so we're going to have her on next week. She'll probably talk a little bit about Mercury going in retrograde and all of that good stuff, and a little more energy stuff next week. So every Monday around 7 o'clock, we're going to do these to get to know people that are part of our AMP training community. So be on the lookout for that. And again, Connie, I want to thank you for joining us here tonight, because you are always a pleasure, and like my brain explodes and my heart explodes around you, and it's always amazing. So again, you can find Connie at quantumenergyinfusion.com. We will put that in the link. You can find me at amptrainings.com, and feel free to ask any questions, and we'll answer those in there as well. And we look forward for you stepping into being in the discovery of energy and what that is for you, and lighting up your life with it. All right. So thank you all for joining us this evening, and we will catch you next week, we'll say.
Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome. Thanks, Connie. Have a great night.
I will.
All right. Bye-bye.